What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. And of course, hop in the Discord, link for that's in the description box down below.
Again, guys, not much yesterday. Today makes it a full show tonight. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss anything we discuss tonight. But before we even get there, it's time to talk about those that are representing the boards here, My Cowboys Family. And let's start off with the overall board, sponsor of the week, the man, running the plan for the first time, SCO971. Much love to him. He is our sponsor of the week. And then if you look above, you see SCO971 as the king of the Cash App.
Ooh.
First time for him there, too. Big shout-outs to SCO. And, hey, he's like second on the overall board this week. We'll see how that goes. Because in first place, it's the man McLovin. He's back at it. So he's in first place on the overall board for this week. And in the Cash App side, he does have the current leader. The leader is Mr. McLovin. So much love to McLovin as he tries to take over that spot back to him. Cat52, much love to you. 46 points on the stream boss. And, of course, the gifting champion 3 weeks in a row, Jason Renfro. Big shout-outs to all you guys repping it. Nobody in the gifting membership side yet this week, so that is completely up for grabs. And I will shout out some people here in the After Dark session. We missed last night, but we had a After Dark stream on on Monday night and on Tuesday night. So, combining all that, plus Dwayne Broussard back in the star level membership. We had Multi-Sparkle in the PayPal. We had Jason Renfro in the Cash App. We had Mosh in the Cash App and the PayPal. We had SCO971 trying to keep up with everybody also in the PayPal and Cash App side of things. And, again, the man McLovin, who's currently in first place. And you got more memberships that dropped today, like Jason Renfro in the Star Level, A. Lavelle in the Silver Level Crew, and Gerald Swain as well. Much love to you guys. I mean, we really represented the Star, the Silver, and the Navy Blue Crew. And then Larry T dropping that 3 in the PayPal. So, a lot of things going on overnight and over in the real world and of course on here. So we got everything up to the date on the top of the board and all the leaders. And of course there's other things to discuss here, like hey, you can drop the love through the super chat, through the thanks button. You could jump in the membership like we just said. You can gift memberships, which no one's done this week so far, which is a great way to give back to not just the channel but also to the family in the channel. Someone gets a bonus 1 month of membership for free here in the Navy Blue Crew, and that's just to see you could use those emojis. There's little perks that come with it, especially this week. But there's 4 other ways, baby, that they can show out. Especially on the Cash App side, the Cash App King.
Of course, you have the Cash App Money Sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link. Let your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
Now we are in a new month now. That means we had last month. Yeah, April. We got to do our raffle. Yes, our monthly jersey raffle.
That's right.
It's going to be done sometime this week. Keep that in mind. It could be tomorrow. It could be at the end of the week. But just make sure you guys are in. If you ever have been or want to be in this raffle, it's a sewn and stitched jersey, guys. Your choice. It's authentic like the whole 9 yards.
As long as it's available, we got you.
A lot of choices, styles from all the eras, sizes, so again, men, women, children, we got all different types. You see all the examples right there. And the winner gets their choice of what we have, exactly. But star level membership, you get 1 raffle entry. If you're in the over everything level membership, you get 2 raffle entries. And then you got the weekly winners. The people that take that sponsor of the week, they get thrown in this mix too. And that would be Mr. McLovin on 2 raffles because he got 2 weeks, and then SCO971 on the other one. So we're going to do that this week. We're going to have a very, very special and lucky winner in the star over everything and the weekly winning crew. So appreciate all of you on that board. And then even you talk about the perks of the membership. If you're in the Navy Blue Crew, Silver 2 or the star level or over everything, you're going to get some perks in this thing here. Mm-hmm. This is the Lunatics basically draft jersey raffle. And there's 2 jerseys available, 2 separate winners to win a jersey apiece. And this represents day 1 and day 2 of the draft. But since we kind of got it the last second, we're going to let it go for like a week or 2 and give you guys a chance to kind of get in this thing, get in the raffle, get a chance to win one of these great jerseys. Same thing as the star level over everything level. But the difference is you can up your chances here. You don't have to be in the membership. You drop $10, whether it's 5 and 5. you get in the raffle. You get a raffle entry. Once you're in the raffle entry, if you're in the Navy Blue crew because someone gifted you a membership, you get a bonus entry. Or if you jumped in yourself on your own membership, whatever it is, star level, over everything, silver, all that stuff, any level, you get an extra bonus membership once you hit the $10 mark. And then if you want to keep upping your chances to get to have a better chance, better percentage to win one of these 2 jerseys, you can drop another 10, and every 10 stacks. It's basically no limit. You can stack 50 entries if you wanted to. I'm just saying, like, so there's a lot of different ways you can kind of up your chances to win one of these. You can't win both, but you get one of these 2 jerseys. So that's the way it breaks down. If you have any questions, let us know. It's pinned above, and the information, you can hit the exclamation point raffle if you have a question, or ask us, like I said. But those are the different ways of getting in this thing. But we also got to do, again, when I go back to our star level over everything and winner, our monthly, weekly winner, bonus entries and all that stuff here. When it comes to this raffle, we got to shout out those that are in the star and over everything level, because that's part of the perks here. We can't do this without your guys' love and support.
That's right. So thank you very much to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Dwayne Broussard, Marissa Sparkle, Chalktown Montana 808, The Lunatic, and over everything, C Bass.
Yes, he's in that level. Much love. The only one in that over everything level. And he'll be on this show soon for another, dropping his thoughts on our Cowboys and this post-draft discussion. And you could even say, our real free agency for the Cowboys, it feels like, when it comes to after the draft, we start signing guys. So, yes, this jersey raffle is coming soon, probably next week sometime. Get in there, stack your raffle entry if you want a chance to win one of these 2 great jerseys. Anyways, as we're here in the house, baby, who's in the house here with us? Let's do those shout-outs, kicking the things off today.
Of course.
Talk about some Cowboy news, info, and updates.
What's up, Rolando Rodriguez? Much love. Asmodeus representing. Even you, Leaside Herald, hello and hi. John Syme, much love. The man himself, C Bass, who, by the way, said, "How's that liver doing, buddy?"
Hanging in there. Hey, this week I've been good, man. It's been like a lot less going, the kind of imbibing on that channel. So a lot less this week, but still, I'm all right. I'm good.
So let me see who else is here. We have Jera Jones. Oh, of course, the man himself, C Bass. Stephen White, hello and hi. Dustin Roberts, shout out to you. Desmond Ironman, hello. Thanks for rolling through here. We have Daniel Berry Sports, what's up? Manuel Trillo, hello and hi. And yes, we'll be touching on the Ezekiel Elliott jersey situation now. So
you see the thumbnail, you know what's going down. So
we go back. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody here as I roll it back a bit. Spoony Dog, what's up in the house? Tammy Soltis, much love to you. Let me see here. So I think that's everyone here so far. As more people trickle in, I'll keep on giving them their proper shout-outs and all.
Let's get it going. NFL news, guys. Just a side news here. The Raiders launching their own fan cruise in 2025. The Raiders, not the Cowboys, the Raiders. A 7-night trip from L.A. to the Mexican Riviera. It's going to have an open bar, mini golf, casino, autograph sessions, alumni from the Raiders, alumni, including alumni dining. You can sit and eat with them. You also have some guys there on the boat signing things. Reggie Kinlaw, Jacoby Ford, Willie Gold, and a bunch of other Raider players. The rooms range from about $2,400 to about $16,000. So, yeah, it's kind of expensive. And
perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, who wants to be looking at the Raiders anyways? The Eagles. I wonder if the Cowboys ever have one. We'll see if that ever happens in the future. But, probably even more expensive than that. Former Eagles running back Boston Scott. I'll talk about him in a minute because we got the man, Brandon J., in the house.
Woo.
With that dollar holler.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Appreciate you. You know what he said?
Hit me.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
Thank you, Brandon. Always appreciate it. So, sorry, you guys are kind of cracking me up here, but I don't want to derail our.
Yeah, let's keep it going. So. Appreciate him. Again, gets cabbed down to 45 points on the stream, boss. Boston Scott, running back from the Eagles, reached an agreement on a 1-year deal with the Los Angeles Rams. Now their backfield is going to look like Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, and now Boston Scott, amongst other running backs for the Rams. Now, this is something that kind of definitely affects our current wide receiver. And if it wasn't for the other news go out there, this would kind of be bigger news. And it happened yesterday. I'm leaving CeeDee Lamb up there because A.J. Brown the wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's going to finish his career, it looks like, with Philadelphia. He basically is now the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. Yeah, we just had the highest paid receiver in the NFL just a couple days ago. So
the record has been
pushed up
reset,
some more,
so to speak.
It's just the record, but it means it pushes it means Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb are going now $35 million a year. It was just 33, 31, 30. We've gone through this. The Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb's waiting. Probably on purpose. The Cowboys aren't making any effort. If they had given him $30 million last year or $28 million last year, it would have been a done deal. That's all. So I think that's where the front office messed up. But A.J. Brown got a 3-year, $96 million contract. That is $32 million a year. And basically he'll be with the Eagles until the 2029 season when he turns 32 years old. This is the highest average given to a wide receiver in NFL history. The $84 million is also guaranteed. Is the most given to a wideout in league history. So CeeDee Lamb now he's looking at, $35 million a year probably, and over $90 million guaranteed. It's got to be. So, yeah. Thanks, Jerry. You letting some leaves fall, and you're also hurting our salary cap for now and the future. It's the facts we've been talking about. If they had just been a little more aggressive, even pay a little bit more than they should have last year with CeeDee Lamb, or even now, if they had done this a couple weeks ago, could have had CeeDee Lamb for way under what we're going to have him whenever we re-sign him. That's just the way it's going to be. Now, talk about from one side of receivers. What about free agent receivers? There's one guy that was released today, guys. The Jacksonville Jaguars released veteran wide receiver Zay Jones. All right, and again, remember the Jaguars took LSU wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. in the first round last year. This is their new number one. They had enough receivers. Zay Jones, listen, he played 2 years with the Jaguars, missed most of last year, dealing with a PCL injury and cartilage damage in his femur. So, yeah, that's kind of an interesting injury there. And if you remember, guys, we played Jacksonville 2 years ago. He kicked our fucking ass. He had like 3 touchdowns on us.
Oh, yeah.
So, out of 52 active NFL receivers with 250 or more career catches, Zay Jones, right now, of all these active receivers, 52 of them, has the lowest average yards per catch at 10.6 yards for his career. So, this guy has never been explosive in that way. He'll get the catch, probably go down by possession receiver kind of guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels... Obviously, not exactly the same comparison, but it feels very Jason Witten-esque in that last year or two, in the sense of you could always count on him to basically catch the ball, right? He was one of the most consistent guys actually catching the things that
but then he wouldn't give you anything more.
Like you said, he'd go down like a tree as soon as he caught it.
Now, with Zay Jones, here's the thing. For me, he's been injured, right? Banged up. The Cowboys, I kind of started thinking the Cowboys might go after someone. Could they go after someone like him? It'd be a cheap deal for him. And he's been injured, so it's a perfect storm for the Cowboy front office. And also, his father, you guys might know him, Robert Jones. You remember linebacker Robert Jones? A Super Bowl champion with the Dallas Cowboys back in the 90s. So, and I remember him. This is his son, Zay Jones, which I didn't realize the connection there. But now there's a connection to Dallas, so there's a chance. Maybe he wants to get a one-year deal. But my question would be, first of all, I think he would actually be an upgrade to Michael Gallup from last year. But it's something that the Cowboys want to do. Do you want to do that and slow down the Tolbert progress? That's the thing, because Zay Jones would be number 3 on this team. And maybe a great number 3, but do you want to slow down the progress of maybe a little bit less you get from him, but he might stay healthy the whole year, and someone like Jalen Tolbert, who's one of our own. Mm-hmm. If I'm looking at the Cowboys front office, they ain't getting someone from another team. They're keeping, our own guy. Jalen Tolbert is going to be our number 3 receiver. That's what the Cowboys have said. They're going to have guys stepping up. That's what it means. So I don't expect the Cowboys to make any moves for Zay Jones, no matter how much there's a connection with Robert Jones or how much we all would love to see that happen maybe, When you look at the remaining free agents that could help the Cowboys post-draft, which obviously we're in, here's a couple names, and I mentioned some of these names before, but cornerback Xavier Howard, cornerback Stephon Gilmore, wide receiver Hunter Renfrow, wide receiver Tyler Boyd, free safety Tracy Walker, edge rusher or edge defensive tackle Calais Campbell, defensive tackle Hassan Ridgeway, running back Kareem Hunt. I mentioned a couple of running backs in the past. We'll mention some more, maybe tomorrow a little bit. Well, I had mentioned Abekanda from the Jets. The Dolphins have Devontae Ashane, the Dolphins' second guy there. They got The Packers have A.J. Dillon, who maybe they got a lot of running backs. Atlanta Falcons have Tyler Aguilar. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. There's a bunch of receivers you can look at here going forward. If you want to add another back with Zeke, I'm there. So, again, guys, Kareem Hunt is another name. Center, Connor Williams. He has the medical issue. He has some health issues there, so he's not 100%. And edge rusher, Yannick Ngakoue, another option there. And I've mentioned other names in the that are also out there. But I just want to run through a quick list I just saw the other, this basically hours before we went live.
Yeah.
Now, as we go to like the fun stuff here, the Cowboys side, Micah Parsons, there's a home run derby today. The Cowboys are a fundraiser, but before we get to that, Micah was doing great at home run derbies. He loves it. He was not at this event.
Oh.
Well, there's a reason though. We knew this too. Micah Parsons and Texans quarterback, where's Eastside Harold at? Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud both went to China, already there, and Japan to help run youth and high school football camps. So this is
that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, we knew this was happening, but now he's there now. The tour is with Gridiron Imports, a nonprofit that helps international athletes come to the United States and play football. So the dates of this thing, April 30th through May 2nd, Beijing. May 2nd to May 3rd, Shanghai. May 3rd to May 9th, they're going to chill in Tokyo. So, Beijing, China, Shanghai, and then Tokyo. That's the trip there for Micah and C.J. Stroud. So basically from April 30th to May 9th, they're going to be busy doing these international youth camps in those three locations. So, Micah doing the thing out there. Now, as far as the home run derby from today, which again was at it's the Reliant Home Run Derby. This is 2024, of course, and the Cowboys, do this every single year to raise money for the Salvation Army. And the players participating in this event today was Dak Prescott, Jake Ferguson, Zach Martin, Brian Anger, Brandon Aubrey, Deron Bland, Damone Clark, Brandon Cooks, Eric Kendricks, Sam Williams, and then there were two late add-ons. Jalen Tolbert, we just spoke about him, and Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, he actually did this thing. He was wearing a 00, by the way, on his back because that was a throw-on last-second jersey. I think the same thing was with Tolbert. They both had like the 00. The 00 because that's kind of like the the general one. They didn't have one made for either guy, whatever these, or definitely not for Zeke. So in this, last year the winner was LVE. Of course, he's retired. Jake Ferguson looked great out there, hitting the ball. He actually hit a real home run, not just past the line. He actually hit the home run out the park. So he actually did a good job there.
Very impressive.
Yeah, at the home of the Frisco Rough Riders. And the Cowboys, in the end of this thing, raised a record $104,900 for the Salvation Army at this Reliant Energy Home Run Derby event. The big winner of this thing was our Pro Bowl punter. Brian Anger was the big winner. He actually, on his own, hitting home runs, earned $21,200 off the bat.
That's
there.
Awesome.
And when you add it all up, the total was more than $145,000 was raised during this entire program. Brian Anger at $21,200. Jake Ferguson was second with $15,000 raised. Jalen Tolbert raised $12,600. Brandon Cooks $11,200. Eric Kendricks $10,800. Dak and Brian Anger, I guess. Is that? Yeah, not Brian Anger. I'm sorry. I don't know. Brian. Why can't I get that name? Dak and somebody else. I don't know who Brian is. $10,800. Zeke, $7,100. Sam Williams, $6,600. Deron Bland, $5,500. And last place, the kicker, Brandon Aubrey. We're basically going to hear from I think everybody on this list we're going to hear from today, except for Jake Ferguson and Sam Williams. So, yeah, hey, it's at the end of the show, you're going to hear some of the insights of what these important stuff that we need to know about, some of the things that's going on behind the scenes right now. Right now, Dak Prescott, right? Let's start off with Dak for a quick second.
Before we do that, shout out to Jason Renfro. You were in the middle of your comment. I didn't want to interrupt you there, but thank you very much, Jason, for the $1.39 holler. He said, "Go Cowboys."
Okay.
Thank you, Jason. Much appreciated, of course, as always.
Yes. The man, Jason Renfro, is going to knock that number down to, 42 up there, possibly? So we'll see how that goes as the Cav 52's current stronghold on that stream boss is in code red right now, in the red zone. So anyways, much love to Jason when it hits. Of course. We got you called out. We got you
Yeah, no,
shouted out.
it already did.
Oh, did it? I missed it
Yeah,
completely.
that's why. Remember,
Okay.
you were talking.
I was in my thing. Yeah, I was
That's
just
why
like
I didn't want to interrupt
focused
you. So
on this info.
but I wanted to
so.
make sure we shouted
Yes.
it out before we went to the next thing.
Thank you, baby. Yes.
Oh,
So it went down to
go ahead.
44. I'm sorry about that. Much love, Jason, and go Cowboys. Now, Dak Prescott. Where was Dak? There he is. Dak Prescott. Just a quick note on Dak. And he spoke as well a little bit about things, but that'll be coming at the end of the stream. Dak Prescott, you look at him, and right now he's finished 8 seasons in the NFL. He's entering his 9th year. Dak Prescott versus, will you guys say Drew Brees is a great quarterback?
I mean, yeah.
Dak has thrown in the same amount of time, in his first 8 seasons, 29,459 yards, and Drew Brees 26,258. All right? Like 3,000 more yards, more than 3,000 yards, more passing yards than Drew Brees. Touchdowns, Drew Brees at 168, Dak has 202. Like 40 more, or 35 more touchdowns thrown by Dak Prescott. Passer rating, Drew Brees in those first 8 years, 89.4, very good. Dak was a 99.0 passer rating, and neither guy had a Super Bowl at this point in their career. Now, in his 9th year, I think Drew Brees did get that Super Bowl. So Dak, the Joneses are making it extra hard for Dak to try to win a Super Bowl this year with taking away help and just going with second stringers and third stringers and rookies and that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But I just want to let it know that situation there comes into something we knew already was going to happen. That's Trey Lance and his 5th-year option. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. The Cowboys said they were not going to pick up his 5th-year option. Today, it became 100% official.
Okay.
All right? It was never going to happen, but now it is official. The Cowboys officially are declining the 5th-year option for Trey Lance, quarterback. We knew this was happening, and that decision was made basically when the Cowboys acquired him. We knew this was going to happen. The Cowboys were not going to give him that 5th-year option. Why? Because, again, we give a 4th-round pick, got a former first-rounder, or 3rd overall pick, and they get the first-rounders give you that 5th-year option. It would have cost the Cowboys $22.4 million to pick up that 5th-year option.
Yeah,
As a guy, we don't know his future with us at all.
I think we're
or even can play.
okay for now.
Yeah. So we're not going to spend $22.4 million on Trey Lance. We know nothing. If he's a complete bust, he still didn't beat out Cooper Rush for second stringer. Maybe he'll do it this year. I'm sure he's going to play a lot in preseason. Looking forward to see what he can do. I really am.
I know, but even if he does, it's not like
not worth
that
it.
all of a sudden means like,
Yeah.
okay, so let's go ahead and pick up your option.
I don't know any other. There's only a few quarterbacks out there. In situations like a rookie comes in and you got Kirk Cousins in Atlanta.
Yeah.
There's no 2 quarterbacks. One guy getting, $40 million or $60 million, whatever it is, and the other guy getting $22 million as a backup. I don't know any team. Let me know if there's a team that's paying their backup $22 million. Because I don't think so. That's happening anyway. Maybe the coach is like 14 or 12 million, as a backup. But that's at most. We're getting right now Cooper Rush like 2 million. So Trey Lance, I think my guess is next year the Cowboys, if they like him in any way and no one's going, and we know some teams are going to try to sign him, but the Cowboys are probably willing to go and kind of go into a bidding war with other teams and try to get him back if the Cowboys really wanted him, or maybe get a deal done now before he hits free agency, or next year. But I think that deal will be something more like if he does good enough in preseason, he might get something that's like $6 million a year for like 3 years. Backup numbers, It also depends on what we do with Dak. If Dak hasn't been signed, he might want $22 million a year because he might be the starter, right?
And you know what? Again, it's funny because I just think that the strategy that they would use changes, right? If Dak, if we figured things out with Dak already, I feel like Trey can use that to leverage his own situation and then vice versa.
Well, I think if the Cowboys sign Dak and extend him, then he loses leverage with the Cowboys because now he's a backup.
Again, but that's what I'm trying to say. Within the Cowboys,
right.
Saying
Yeah.
in general for him,
yeah. It's outside the Cowboys,
on a personal level,
he
it's
can
basically
explore.
win-win. Just because, again,
he can explore outside of the team. I'm saying if he does well, but if the Cowboys want to keep him after that, and they got Dak already, he ain't staying here. The Cowboys probably try to trade him before he hits free agency, and teams will trade for Trey Lance if he looks good in preseason. Why? Even if we have Dak, because it's hard to find a good quarterback. He shows out. The teams will give a 4th or even a 3rd rounder for a quarterback with upside. So that is where I think you're seeing things kind of going to boil down to in the end. I don't see Trey Lance, if he plays well in preseason, being our backup next year. I just don't see it happening. Not this year, yes. Next year, I don't see it happening. Either way, that $22.4 million 5th-year option is fully guaranteed. It's not even like if you don't play, we get some of that back. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Dak first. But Dak, great numbers when you look at the Drew Brees comparison. Now, going from the old And let's go to the new. And when I say the new, I mean these rookies that just came in, guys, after this draft. We have, we know the draft that went down, and you've seen it. You know the players, but we got some updates now on player numbers.
All right.
And let's go right here with this, right now, right? If you look at this list right here, first round pick, Tyler Guyton is wearing number 60. The last player that wearing number 60, you know who that was? Isaac Alarcon.
Oh.
Second round pick, edge rusher Marshawn Nealand. He's wearing number 94. Do you remember the last guy who wore that? And it was not Randy Gregory. It was Willington Previlion, who was on our practice squad. Cooper Beebe, wearing number 56, which we knew. But you know who that was assigned to last?
I know. I want to say it was a linebacker. I can't remember.
Edge rusher. Now he's at Washington.
No.
Dante Fowler.
There we go.
56. So now
I don't
it's...
know why. For some reason, I almost wanted to say Damian Wilson for a second. I feel like
Yeah.
that might have been his number at one point or another. Back to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It never was. But
I
I know what you're saying, but Wilson. Well, we got Damian Wilson. Now we got to specify which Wilson we're talking about. But I got you Damian Wilson's number 2 in a minute. Our fourth rounder, you can see him right there, and I'm going to do my best. Marist Leofau, linebacker. He's wearing number 35. And if you're wondering, wait, doesn't that look familiar? We had somebody with 35 last year. You remember who that was? DeMarvion Overshow.
Oh shit!
He changed
that's
his
right.
he changed his number this year.
I forgot he changed his number.
Yep. Kalen, and he's number, was he 13 now? I think he's number 13. I think it carries the LSU number he wore it there. But that's for our Overshown. Now, Kalen Carson, fifth round pick. I said Myris Leofau was our third rounder as well. But Kalen Carson was our fifth rounder. He's wearing number 41, which we knew. Do you remember who wore 41 last? He's still on our team. He also changed his number. Marquise Bell, now 14. He was 41.
Got to stop changing the number because I forgot about Marquise Bell.
Marquise Bell is now 14.
41.
He's not 14, but he flipped that number around. So he was 41 when he started. Now, here's a crazy one. You see that one there? Flournoy. I hope I'm saying that name right.
Yeah.
It's not Flournoy. It's got to be Flournoy. Flournoy is now number 18, but it didn't start that way. Yesterday, he was number 19. Because of some movement with Zeke's jersey and Trey Lance's jersey, he lost his number 19. You know who the last person who wore number 19 before it was taken away from him? I guess it was of course Ryan Flournoy who wore number 19 last. But you know who wore it before him? Noah Igbenogany last year, first touchdown scored. But now he changed it to, as you can see, officially Flournoy is number 18 as a wide receiver there, which, if you think that's familiar, it is. And I'm sorry, Damone Clark, he was the one from LSU. I don't know why I said Overshown. Overshown's from Texas. Damone Clark from LSU, he's the one that took that number 18. So it's a double number there, guys, double jersey. You got Damone Clark wearing number 18, and right now you got Ryan Flournoy wearing number 18. So it'll be two number 18s, one on offense and one on defense. But obviously, Damone Clark has the number 18. That's his jersey. Flournoy is just borrowing that until people get cut.
Exactly.
See if he makes the team, what number he gets. You know what I'm saying. So either way, right now he's 18, but that's still going to be up in the air and changing. And then you got that was our sixth rounder. Our seventh rounders, two of them. Nathaniel Thomas, offensive lineman. He's wearing number 62. You won't remember the last guy who wore that number. It's Braylon Jones. And then finally, last but not least, and you should know this one, number 96 is going to our nose tackle, Justin Rogers. You know who wore number 96 last?
No, I can't remember now. Gallimore.
Neville Gallimore. Yeah, you got it.
I know, but I feel like I started saying Gallimore and you started saying Neville. So it's like...
But you said it.
But still,
Neville Gallimore, of course, not with us anymore either. So there you go. That's the new jersey, the new numbers on these jerseys for these rookies that are... that were drafted, not the undrafted ones yet. They'll probably bring a lot of repeat numbers.
Yeah.
Cowboys draft class again today. Today we're officially giving their jerseys. Today was really the finalization of the Flournoy one, but basically we knew Tyler Guyton's already, right? He was wearing number 60 there. He had the jersey. So then you saw Marshawn Nealand, the second rounder, given number 94, which on this team, 94 is a big deal. We know we have Haley 94 Ware, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Haley Ware, we had Gregory. So 94 is even given to your guy, you know what I mean? So Marshawn Nealand, good luck.
94 comes with implications and expectations.
Yes. And then, you have number 35 with Leofau, which is a little bit puzzling for a linebacker. And, but so was Overshown, a linebacker, had number 35. But yes, Overshown went to number 13, lucky number 13 for Overshown. And, that's why Leofau was able to get that number 35 from Overshown. And then, the alterations, again, like I said, Jalen Tolbert is number 1 now. Damone Clark is number 18, which he wore in LSU. And it's a big deal there for the Tigers at LSU. So anyways, just wanted to throw out some information there on these rookies, rookie jersey numbers. And trust me, guys, some of these will change. Some of these numbers will change, like Flournoy. Don't buy his jersey yet. Now, real quick, when it comes to a couple quick notes about the rookies, not going to spend too much time, except for Will McClay will. Will McClay will spend some time on this. But the Rams, they have a rookie offensive tackle named KT Levston. And he played with Cooper Beebe. He had some interesting kind of comments there about him playing center for Cooper Beebe. And the thing about him is that this was said from a teammate of his from Kansas State, now with the Rams, KT Levston. And he said multiple times how he would, after they finished practice, they would switch up. The offensive line would switch up on purpose and do extra reps. The whole offensive line, he's one of them too. He would switch from left guard to right tackle, but every time Beebe would be the center. And he'd been doing this for over a year. So this is not anything new. Last year, he went to O-line masterminds and he started working at the center stuff in the offseason. And then the whole season, every single practice, he would go and work with, the whole offensive line. They would work extra reps, and it would all change spots so they could have like kind of their backup spot.
Yeah.
And he was always center, and he did a great job according to this guy here. So it kind of calms our worries. It's just he believes he's going to be a great center, and he can do it just as well. He communicates great with the offensive line. So just want to, some guys that actually worked with him.
Yeah. No
reason for him to say anything great about him. If I know it's his buddy and everything, but he didn't have to say this. Hey, he gave his own 2 cents on this and kind of spoke up on how Cooper Beebe is a special guy. So, hey, I want to say one last thing about Cooper Beebe, though. I will say, a lot of people are saying, a lot of analysts are saying like, how the fuck did this guy fall into the 3rd round, Cooper Beebe? And most people are saying, most of the analysts are saying this guy's much better than a 3rd round pick. So we got ourselves a steal. Cooper Beebe, and again, this is from multiple even...
Which is nice because, again, it's actually been kind of a while since the Cowboys got such a steal, draft-wise. Like, we've gotten them, but they tend to come much later. We're talking like a 5th round steal type of thing for a guy that should have been a 2nd round or 3rd round, So this type of impact, it feels almost like we got
another first rounder.
A first rounder in the 3rd round.
He's the number one. He was the first guard taken. And he can do that, obviously, very well. But in the NFL level, center is, if he can snap the ball, he's going to be great there as well. Elite. So a lot of people say he's going to be elite. And in fact, from the Cowboys' own, analysts, their own people, there's whispers about this guy. And you know what they're saying? That he probably will be the biggest, most physical, and nastiest center that the Cowboys have ever had in our history. And again, we haven't
something because, like we've said, Fred Beard is within very recent memory for us here in Dallas.
And they've had some great ones, whether it's Stepnowski or Fitzgerald in the past. I'm talking about the 70s and the 90s, but we're not talking about the best. We're talking about the most physical, nastiest player with this kind of size. We've never had a center. All our centers, baby, Biotish and you go Stepnowski, they were all undersized. This is our first non-undersized center I think we had as far as I can remember. It's a great point. And also the nastiness that comes with that. Now, let me just, that strength and demeanor and size, we haven't really had that combination from really another center. Frederick was very nice. He's a nice guy. This guy's not too nice. The other thing is this, and again, I want to compare him to Fred Beard. I want to compare him to
he obviously, it feels like you have to kind of compare him to Frederick just because, one, like you said, he's our most recent actually talented center, but 2, he is also our most recent, elite, all-pro, Pro Bowler, Hall of Fame-ish. But, the point is that he's at that type of level. So for people to already say, hey, he has the potential to surpass what Frederick
and it's not even
for us.
It's not the Jerry. Well, again, this is very early.
It's not like our front office is saying this.
They're not blowing the smoke up our ass.
BB saying, hey,
They're looking at him. They know what they've done. There's members of the scouting kind of saying these things, and people kind of leaking some of this out. So the point is this: a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, you kind of stop. You say, wait, people are saying Cooper Beebe is going to be more physical and more, has more strength and nastier demeanor at the center position than Travis Frederick. But even Patrick Walker said this is actually maybe true. If you just look at the measurables and playing demeanor, not better, but just nastier, bigger. Frederick was not a bigger guy like this. We have never had a big, nasty, strong center. We've had the lighter on their feet kind of centers that are very smart, and this guy.
Yeah, we've had 2 out of the 3, but not all 3.
But this guy adds the 3 things we never had though, and that is like the nastiness, that demeanor, the size, the strength. Those things are things that none of our centers have ever really had. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. What's his name? Joe? Was it not Joe? Was
Looney?
it Joe Looney? It was too nice. Travis Frederick was a dominator, but he didn't have that nastiness or that size or that power. None of these guys did. And I go to Stepnowski, didn't have that. You guys remember the '90s? Fitzgerald didn't have that. If you remember the '70s, so I'm just saying, like, I just personally think this might be our best chance to have like a real nasty motherfucker at center that we've never seen in our center history. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do. So, in the end, once the ball is snapped, Cooper becomes like a crazed bulldozer. Like on coke. You know what I mean? It's like he's gonna go out there and just wreck shit. And that's just he does that already with the attitude, but he's got the size to back it up, the power to back it up, the demeanor to back it up. So please understand what I'm trying to say, guys. I'm not saying he's gonna be better than Frederick. I'm just saying he has the ability to be the nastiest, biggest, strongest center we ever had. Ever in Dallas. Those are the measurables, the facts. We'll see what happens after that. But he is a monster out there in that field. And you can just check the shorts. You can check his film. The guy's a dominator. And we got a steal there. Again, this is why that first round pick was great. Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe, we just fixed our offensive line. That's the expectations, at least. So, now when you look at the other side of the line, the trenches, look at our last pick. You might say, well, who cares? It's the last pick. You won't make the team. Hold on, guys, because you got Justin Rogers, defensive tackle, nose tackle, big guy from Auburn, and he said this in April about his run defense. Quote, I love defending the run. I was always taught to never let anybody run up the middle. I protect the middle of the defensive line like that's my house. And then he started laughing. He said, I don't want anyone coming into my house. I love stopping the run, man. Remember, guys, I told you about this guy. He is not a pass rusher. That's why he got picked at the end of the draft. Because nobody wants a one-dimensional guy, but that's all we really need. He's a first downer. He's a fucking short yardage kind of guy. He's kind of like Zeke. I don't know, but my point is...
Look, he's there to do one job, basically, and one job only, or at least that's the number one reason we brought him into the building. So I mean, expectations are high that he will be able to at least do the one thing we're expecting from him.
As a 7th rounder, remember.
Exactly. Like, anything more than that is basically just bonus.
The point I'm trying to say here, as well, is that the Cowboys made an obvious effort to get better at defending the run. We saw this throughout the whole draft. You can look at our guys. Nealon's a run-stopping edge. Lufau is a fucking linebacker that's, he's going to be a headhunter, hitting you hard. He's stopping the run. Carson's also a run support corner. And then Rogers is just a plain old fat guy in the middle. That's not a pass rusher. Has no skills to pass rush, but cannot be moved from Auburn. That's all we need is to take 2 blockers on and keep the linebackers clean. So I'm not saying he's going to start. He's the backup to Mozzie right now. Maybe they use Mozzie and him later on in the season on those first downs or short yardage things. We'll see what happens. Either way, even that addition on that side of things could help Mozzie get even better, possibly. We'll have to wait and see. But the Cowboys made an effort to get better at stopping the run, and that means that number 96, Justin Rogers, is part of the plan, not just an extra piece. So, now, real quickly on the undrafted list of guys here, I talked about one of the better guys that we got. We know about the tight end, but the second guy on my list as far as true value, Imani Johnson, a safety. We might have found something from this guy from Nevada, safety. He didn't get a chance to really shine until last year in college. He racked up 100 tackles. Oh, wait, is that stopping the run again? Maybe a guy who can tackle? He got 100 tackles and 3 interceptions in his feature role last year. Decisive out of the third level in the run game. So he's another run-stopping safety now, right? He could basically man up against bigger-bodied tight ends. So he's like a Jaron Curse, small version. Not small, but like the rookie version of Jaron Curse that he's not on our team anymore. Kind of can cover the tight ends. All right, we can man up against the bigger body tight ends and twitchier running backs as well out of the backfield. He also is good at sniffing out screens, not falling for misdirection. He does that actually very well. He really is good at following the play and the ball. And again, probably his best trait, he's very super animated and vocal out of the third level in the back end. So he's going to be very, very much around the field. He's going to be hyping people up. So we got a little bit more, a guy that really has passion on that field. So again, probably going to be a strong safety in the NFL. But his length and open field tackling ability allows him to eliminate various offensive weapons. And he could be a specialized player. So again, he could take out certain players, if you got him in a 53, that can help slow down a run or a tight end, something like that. So just keep an eye on this guy here, Imani Johnson, an undrafted. Now, one last word I have about the rookies before we get to Will McClay. But I was curious about when are the Cowboys going to get the rookies on that field? And when do they arrive at the Star? Rookie minicamp, as I said in the past, is going to be May 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Okay.
So in those 3 days, we're going to be staying busy. We're going to have some video clips. We're going to have some information. We're going to have, some updates on things on these guys. And, we'll hear a lot from these players as well and the coaches during those 3 days, May 8th, 9th, and 10th. So it's just next week, guys, right around the corner. By the way, in that rookie minicamp, the Cowboys are bringing in a quarterback, which they need to do. They always need to bring in a quarterback of some sort because they need a throwing arm, to throw it to the receivers and stuff. So the quarterback tryout for next week's Cowboys rookie minicamp is going to be Houston Christian quarterback Colby Suits. All right, he's a graduate of North Forney and was invited also to the Jets rookie minicamp. In college, he threw for 1,919 yards and 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions last year for the Washington Huskies. So that's the guy, the Washington Husky, Colby Suits. He's going to be our quarterback coming in to throw the ball with the rookies for rookie minicamp May 8th, 9th, and 10th. Now, that's enough from me. They want to hear from you, baby, because you interviewed Will McClay. Well, you know what I mean. Kind of interview. You know what I mean?
Yes, I personally interviewed Will McClay.
you have the words of the man, Will McClay, who, be honest about it, guys, I mean, he is the guy that's kind of saving a lot of our draft stuff. It's his behind-the-scenes work. That's fantastic. And, he was asked today, these rookies are there. I just told you about the rookie camp. Cowboys selected 3 offensive linemen in the draft. And that wasn't just out of necessity, I should say. Will McClay said that, quote, this year's draft was almost unheard of with the amount of depth in the offensive line. I haven't seen one with depth like that in a long time. So, yeah, Will McClay, he ended up, kind of, we went all in on the offensive linemen this year because it was so deep. A lot of offensive linemen, and again, those first and third rounder, those are starters. And then you got one at the back end there, number 62, Nate Thomas, who also, may have a role as a backup right now. We'll see where he goes from there. So again, Will McClay also said, I guess you don't have it.
No.
So there you go. So the Cowboys also said that, Will McClay was speaking for the Cowboys, said the Cowboys had a draftable grade and 8 or 9 players that were undrafted. So basically would have been on the, 7th round kind of guy or something like this.
You have to imagine that a few of those guys are guys that we obviously tried to go after.
Yeah. So, yeah, we did, but we only have so many draft spots. You know what I mean? So Will McClay, I was asked about this. He says usually, though, the number is 14 to 18 players, not just 8 or 9 players. So a lot less players the Cowboys had, grades on that fell to the end of this draft and were undrafted. That's why we only got 12 guys as the undrafted. So, they asked how many of these guys, of these 8 or 9 guys, agree to terms here. And he said, of the guys that we had grades on, he said, quote, it's not all completely done yet, but we've got probably 4 or 5 guys that we feel like can join us in that college free agent group that we had some love for in the draft process. So this whole thing's not done yet when it comes to free agency as far as undrafted rookies as well. So we might got a couple guys to go. The team is waiting for the undrafted agents kind of to get the undrafted free agents to sign officially with the Cowboys before announcing the full class. There was one guy who was announced, and then he was, it's right there, and it was announced. I'm sorry, it was announced on the, I don't know, when was it announced? And the free agents, the undrafted free agents that the Cowboys were trying to sign were signing, were announced right after the draft. But there's a couple other ones with grades that the Cowboys, obviously missed on. They signed somewhere else. So Cowboys are trying to wait to get this whole thing kind of wrapped up, and they'll announce, I guess everything officially by next week sometime, I'm assuming. Now, this is too much for me to read. You got to handle this one, baby. But Cowboys Vice President of Player Personnel, Will McCLAY, was talking about the need for these recent draft picks. Not this year, but the last couple of years. Mozzie Smith, nose tackle. Tight end Luke Schoonmaker. Linebacker DeMarvion Overshown. Edge rusher Fehoko. Vilami Fehoko. They all have to make a jump in 2024. So I want to hear what Mr. McCLAY had to say about these guys making a jump and how's his mindset about what's going on.
When you draft players, those players don't always immediately step in and fill that role. But when you're drafting a player, you're drafting him for the 4 to 5 years of their contract, and you're trying to get a return on investment. We need those guys to take a jump now based on the cap and the way that things are. And they just have to step up. At the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. When you have a good team and we've won 36 games in 3 years, we haven't won the big one. But that's highly productive to win that many games, and to do that, you have to have a number of good players. We'll continue to try and fill holes and add players as we go through this process. But guys that have to step up, it's their time now. We've lost a number of really quality vets that have been on our roster that have been with us for a while. These young guys need to step up. There's no way about it.
Well, that's the way the Cowboys set it up. Front office-wise, Will McCLAY is not going to go against the Joneses.
No, but again, I think it's a valid point in the sense of, for example, Mozzie is a great example. We knew drafting him that he was not going to be an immediate impact player, that it was going to be an investment for the future in getting him. But McCLAY is still not wrong by saying, hey, we still need him to step it up, to continue to progress, to continue to level up, especially heading into the season. And like you said, because we've lost, some veterans. He seemed to be implying it more on the O-line, as far as like the real long-term experienced veterans from here. But again, we've lost veterans pretty much across the board at a few different positions. So that means pretty much every single one of the rookies from these last few years has to step it up.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the expectation when they did not re-sign anyone. That we let all these guys go and then didn't sign anybody to replace them. That means next man up. Mm-hmm. Now that wasn't where it ended, and we're gonna go in. We talked about the rookies, we talked about all these different things, but now we're gonna get into the final portion of things, and it's gonna start off with Will McCLAY talking about. We're gonna have the home run derby stuff, but we're talking about Zeke now. Now we're talking about Zeke Elliott. And we know that, of course, Zeke spoke to Jerry Jones and his agent spoke to the Joneses. But Will McCLAY also was involved in this process. So, what did he speak about Zeke, who's wearing number 15? For a reason. Will McCLAY said this about the signing of Ezekiel Elliott. Quote, Zeke's a winner. Starting running. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't know if you had it. Go ahead.
Zeke's a winning starting running back in the league. You turn on the tape and you saw him do things, running power gap scheme, running inside-outside zones, helping in pass protection. All those things to show that the ability was still there. And then adding him to this roster, it adds a guy, number one, that loves football, that wants to win here, wants to be here, and adds something to the roster from a leadership standpoint, as well as his ability to play. I think the running back position in this day and age is not that old school, one guy's the lead back and the others fill in. It's a group by committee. And what he'll add to that group, we're excited about. It's
about time they figured it out. And this has been going on for years in the NFL. The Cowboys always want their one big starter and then they run him to the ground like they did with Zeke. Now Zeke's going to be sharing the load, it sounds like, from Will McCLAY, right?
Yeah.
that he's going to share the load with the other running backs like Rico Dowdle if Royce Freeman makes the team and others. Deuce Vaughn if he makes the team and on and on. So, of course he's got to say what Jerry, what Jerry wants him to say, but Jerry's moves, he has to kind of say the nice things about it. And I'm not saying he didn't want Zeke back here, but, he's just giving you the highlights of the good things of what Zeke can still do. The run zone, the power gap scheme, and outside zone stuff, pass protection stuff, which he's gotten worse at, actually. But ability was still there, is all that was needed from Will McClay and the Joneses' viewpoint. And I do think the leadership role is something that it's different than he was when as he's been humbled as well from his, lesser money he has to take in, his lesser role in New England. So that reality, I think he's kind of understanding it now. And hey, I think if we get anything that we got in his last year with the Cowboys, not this past year, but the year before that, for this money, it'd be worth it. Just don't give him those carries. That's all. I don't want him to get those too many carries. I want to split this thing around. And it sounds like that's the plan when it comes to Will McClay and what he's talking about. So that's it from Will McClay and gang there, and the rookies as well. Let me get McClay out of there because now we're going to talk number 15. Oh, yeah, you're saying what? I'm talking about Zeke now. So on Monday, just so you guys know, if you see this the front cover or the thumbnail of our picture here, I wish it would have been better quality, but that's Deuce Vaughn up in the air. I know, he's tiny and he can jump, but they're jumping over hurdles. You see some of the players back there. This was today at the Star. You can see the building on the left. On Monday, not today, but on Monday, 2 days ago, the Cowboys entered phase 2 of their spring workout schedule. So it's still OTAs. We finished phase 1. Now we're getting to phase 2. Now coaches can start breaking down the schemes with the players. They're doing it in the classroom, and then they go out there and do it on the field. So right now, guys, the players and coaches are sharing the field, and this is an example, for the first time this offseason. They were just doing strength and conditioning and getting acclimated, running around back on the field. That's what they were doing until this second phase. Now, in this phase 2, coaches starting Monday. All the coaches can deal with all the players right now as far as the veterans are concerned, not the rookies. But guess who was out in the field today? DeMarvin Overshown, many others, and Ezekiel Elliott with number 21 today on the field. By the way, he was wearing number 21, and of course Dak and Zeke re-entering the he re-entered the huddle today for the first time with Dak Prescott in over a year.
Must have been
pretty
good
cool.
Feeling.
Yeah, good feeling for him. And here's an example of what some analysts are saying. Basically, I'm going to paraphrase here about Zeke and this signing. This is not from the Cowboys. This is from analysts and multiple different sources. But basically, they're saying that Zeke showed last year with the Patriots. He still has something in the tank. He can still play. With that said, though, the Cowboys cannot run him the way that we used him in previous years. And again, you just heard Will McClay say we're not going to run him like that. We're gonna have them share
and of course
back.
That remains to be seen. The one thing I will say in that offensive scheme's defense, right? Our offense is different.
Passing.
The last time we had Zeke, we did have a completely different offensive scheme
it was Kellen
and
Moore.
Management and all of that. So
Zeke's last play before we lost, it was a center position for him.
And also remember, McCarthy now he's
running the show.
He's running the offense.
Right. So hopefully he utilizes Zeke the right way. That's the hope, because we know Kellen Moore didn't know how to fucking do it, or the Joneses were pushing him to do it. Pushing to get their $12 million, $14 million running back the ball 50 times a game. So which worked him to the ground. The point here is the basically vision or the kind of final grades you can say from analysts out there about this. If the Cowboys don't use him like they did last time, he still has something in the tank. And, the Cowboys didn't use any of our 8 picks on a running back. And a lot of people were surprised about that because, again, they still like Rico Dowdle, what he can do in a limited role. Deuce Vaughn in a specialized role can maybe do something. We see if Royce Freeman can make the team as a power back. But we have a good enough running backs. You just need a little bit to push you over. It's what most analysts are saying. And they're saying Zeke could be that if we don't overwork him, use him too much. You give him 20, 30 carries a game, it's over. We're going to suck. That's going to be Zeke going to look like shit. And, Rico and Deuce seem based off these comments, these analysts kind of talking about this, it seems to me like Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn are very much going to be in the plans when you hear Will McClay. Very much in the plans for 2024.
Yeah.
So again, if week 1 was next week, next Sunday, we'd probably have Zeke starting, Rico Dowdle second, Deuce Vaughn probably our scat back, kind of, we'll have to see if we use him, and then Lipke as our fullback. But we asked you guys the other day when this deal went through, and we never actually told you guys the answers to this, the final answer. But we knew kind of the way we were going with this. Do you like that the Cowboys signed running back Ezekiel Elliott, returning to the Cowboys to be our starting running back? And 100 people voted on this. 39% said it's okay. Better offensive line helps Zeke, which is kind of like the B, not an A, but it's a B. The second most popular answer at 34% was yes, I love it. Zeke still has it. So that is like the A grade.
Yeah.
So we gave the 39% of the chat said, and 39% said it's kind of like a B. And 34% said it's an A. I'm surprised about that. I went with there's better options in free agency still. And that was only 14% of you guys.
I have to admit, I said, better O-line will help Zeke just because, again.
That was the number one answer.
I also think it's a very, very different situation when you're talking about Zeke getting paid what he was getting paid. Like, Zeke for $3 million?
Yeah, $2 million. He has to earn the other million,
You get my point, though. Like, I'm sorry. I think that's a great deal, and yes, I do agree with you that there were better free agent options possibly available, but they would be more money than Zeke.
A million more, maybe. Yeah, a million more. The ones I were looking at.
I would say it's worth it, but the front office clearly doesn't. So if that's what I'm saying. So if we're genuinely looking for like the cheapest guy, and again, I think it was McCLAY who pointed out, like Zeke adds more than just the running back situation. The fact that he basically is kind of a plug and play, tried and true cowboy. Right. That you don't have to worry about that he does add that kind of leadership situation,
If you get someone like, let's say another guy, let's say you get Dalvin Cook. He has leadership, he has all these things, but he don't know the Cowboys.
Exactly.
Like Zeke knows the Cowboys. So that is I guess you could say the tiebreaker, and I can see why Will McClay, Jerry, and Steven were all in on this. Yeah, and why you guys are okay with this deal for only $2 million. By the way, I said $2 million. I didn't get to tell you guys the actual breakdown. We knew this yesterday because it was released. But I got to break this down for you guys when you get a chance.
Go ahead. I was going to say, if you want, go ahead and break that down because I need to refill my water super quick. So why don't you go ahead and break that down in detail because you already pointed out like $1 million in that is in incentives. And
I saw somebody in the chat say Michael Gallup got $3 million. $3 million for 1 year. We knew that already, by the way. We spoke about that. If you watch our last show, we went through all that. He did get number 10 with the Raiders, Michael Gallup. I wanted to mention that. Not that it really matters because he ain't a Cowboy no more. But let's talk about Zeke. We knew Zeke's contract. It was $3 million total, up to $3 million. Guaranteed only $2 million. And if you look at the veteran, basically the lowest you can pay a veteran in the NFL, which is what Zeke is, it's $1.2 million. So we paid literally $800,000 more for Zeke than we would have gotten the lowest paid veteran running back we can get in the NFL. That's not, when you look at it like that, again, not a bad move. Only $800,000 more than, the worst running back in the league. You know what I mean? So today, of course, or I think it was yesterday, the Cowboys officially pen to paper. The deal went through yesterday, Tuesday. So again, this was after Monday, no comp pick going to New England or taken away from us. So we signed Ezekiel Elliott yesterday afternoon officially. And we signed wide receiver Tyron Billy Johnson today. Oh, and yesterday we also signed Damian Wilson, of course. We knew that. We discussed that already. Linebacker is going to be our last linebacker, former Cowboy as well. So Zeke, Damian Wilson, and receiver Tyron Billy Johnson were signed today. And then Zeke, you look at the contract breakdown. It's a 1-year deal. Maximum is $3 million, which we knew. Here's the breakdown. Signing bonus, $375,000, which was guaranteed. The base number. His base is only $1.25 million, guys. This is the lowest you can pay a running back, a veteran running back. His base is $1.25 million guaranteed. He gets another $375,000 guaranteed through the signing bonus. We have to, on the cap, we lose $2 million on the cap because that's the guaranteed right there. Because he also has an active roster bonus of $375,000 total. So when you look at the 1.25 and the 375,000, you're looking at about 1.6. When you look at it, the cap hit's going to be a full $2 million. Mm-hmm. And then there's an active roster bonus, which again, $375,000 is what he also is getting. So that all ends up being $2 million. Those numbers. All right. All that's pretty much guaranteed other than the active roster bonus. We cut him early. If we cut him early, he's $1.6 million that we lose. Might not even make a difference. But if we don't cut him, he'll be $2 million. That's the fully guaranteed he gets for the season.
Okay.
Now, the other $1 million, where does that come from? The incentives. If he gets 1,100 scrimmage yards, not rushing, scrimmage, on the ground and in the air combined. If he gets 1,100 scrimmage yards and we make the playoffs, if you don't make the playoffs, you get nothing. If he gets 1,100 yards from scrimmage and the playoffs, $250,000 for Zeke.
Which, again,
it's going to be tough.
The overall scrimmage yards, yes, but if you go off the team's expectations, like, they are fully expecting to be in the playoffs again next year based on, I think, the way that they're acting. Like I know, but I don't... We're talking about their expectations in the sense that, we get to show up pretty much every single year. Where we go after that, who knows? My point is that I think we can assume that the Cowboys also assume that Zeke will get that $250K, is my point.
The thing is, I think that Zeke, knowing that he's going to get, again, he was still very active in the pass-catching side of things in New England. He's going to be behind, hopefully, a better offensive line than he had in New England and not be used constantly running to the ground by the Joneses like he was before he was in New England. He could definitely get 1,100 yards in 17 games. You kidding me? Of course. But, again, being our number one guy, he gets 50 yards rushing and 20 yards, 30 yards receiving.
Remember, now it's 17 games as well. Like, these... when we first signed him, it was only the 16 games. So I'm just saying, some of those numbers, like, I'm assuming that's why it's 1,100 and not 1,000.
Well, 1,100 scrimmage yards and the playoffs, $250,000. That's attainable. 10 touchdowns and making the playoffs, another $250,000. So in my mind, I think that is much more attainable. 10 touchdowns for Zeke? I mean, he had like 9 in a row 2 years ago with us. So that's not a problem. Zeke's going to hit the 10 touchdowns in my mind.
Especially if you're also thinking, hey, a lot of those like short yardage, ground and pound situations that we didn't
put Zeke
get
on the goal
last
line.
year. We're going to do it. O-line's better.
Well,
I'm just saying, like, the point is that Zeke is going to go in there and kind of like sweep up those last little yards and get some of those touchdowns.
Goal line touchdowns, yeah. So if he gets the 1,100 scrimmage yards and the 10 touchdowns and we make the playoffs, he gets $500,000. So now he's at 2.5 there. And then the other $500,000, it's play time. You got to make the playoffs too. Okay. It's all. If you don't make the playoffs, he gets none of the million. The million's gone. Doesn't matter if he hits all the incentives.
Exactly.
You don't make the playoffs as a team, he don't get the $1 million. But if we get in the playoffs, he gets 1,100 scrimmage yards. He gets $250,000, 10 touchdowns, another $250,000. And if we make the playoffs and he plays over 51% of the time, which is a number one running back, he may be doing that. Although if you split it by thirds, he probably wouldn't be doing it. But if we make the playoffs and he plays over 51% of the playing time, $500,000. That means we really rode him once again. And the Joneses probably, push that. And Zeke's probably going to be worse at the end of the year if that's what we're actually trying to do. Do not overuse Zeke. We got 3 or 4 running backs. Fucking, you put them all to use.
See, I feel like it's a bit of a different situation. The Cowboys no longer have to care about. God, this sounds so callous to say, but they don't have to care about what Zeke is going to look like next year. They can absolutely just, wear the tread off those tires and then just, send them to the junkyard. So I am just saying, don't be surprised if that 51%. It also sounds like it's, again, since we're talking incentive, the Cowboys are also kind of pushing Zeke, hey, give us a reason to start you and put you in there more than, a Dowdle or a Deuce Vaughn or something like that, Who's the other guy that we got again?
Royce Freeman.
There we go.
Who basically is a younger, I think he's a younger Zeke, basically. So, again, he's going to have to fight for the spot on the team no matter what.
Yeah, and guess what? If one of these young guys ends up playing or doing better than him, now with the way things are structured, the Cowboys have no problem putting him in there over Zeke.
Let me explain.
Guess what? He gets to sit on the bench.
Because right now, guys, again, that's how he gets it. If he gets a play time over 51%, 10 touchdowns, 1,100 scrimmage yards, and we make the playoffs, he gets $3 million. Since Ezekiel Elliott played in every game last year with the Patriots, the $375,000 in active roster bonuses, that's why, because of last year's performance and playing in every game, that's why that portion, even though it's not guaranteed, it counts against the cap for the Cowboys.
Okay.
So, it's interesting how they're doing it. If last year they didn't play that much, they wouldn't count it against the cap. That's kind of one of those things that the CBA kind of puts in there. I didn't know that. So, that's why it's part of the $2 million. It would have been $1.6 million instead of $2 million. Or, in that range. So for every game he misses, though, in 2024, if you don't play, he's inactive, he's hurt, the Cowboys will receive a cap credit of $22,058 per game. So just keep that in mind. It'll be something we use at the end of the year or something, But we'll get some of that money trickling back throughout the year if Zeke misses a couple games.
I mean, when you hear all this stuff as far as Zeke, his contract, the breakdown, why would the Cowboys not sign him or bring him in the building? Like I said, you are getting... you were saying when I was getting water. For the low cost of $800,000...
More than a minimum running back that you can get in the NFL. Veteran.
You cannot get that kind of bang for your buck. And again, Steven said it. We're doing something different at running back this year. So
yeah, it's running back by committee that they're really going all in on.
I know. But
no more Zeke or Pollard.
You also can't ask for more different than spending, the equivalent of like a McDonald's, Happy Meal on the running back.
So, as I said, guys, and I think you guys understand, the league minimum is $750,000 in signing bonuses. So you have to give no matter what. That money has to be put into that contract no matter what, some way. When it comes to incentives, signing bonuses. So he wanted something to give him a little higher ceiling if he's used more, if he does better. And that's what the Cowboys did. But it ain't, it's all tied into making the playoffs and winning, not just getting the yardage. Although if you can be productive, you get an extra $1,000.
Yes, we are technically still owing Zeke money, but remember, dead cap money works a little bit differently. It's not like, hey, I owe you $10, here's $10, and I put $10 in your hand. It's more like, hey, I already paid you, but I paid you using my credit card, and now I'm making my credit card payments, and I still got to pay off that payment because I'm still paying for Zeke from however many years ago.
So the point is that when the Cowboys gave Zeke all his money, when he signed his contract, he's not getting this year we're paying.
He got all his money.
Yeah, he got that money. He got his money the next year. As soon as we stopped and we cut him, last year when we cut him in the offseason, no more money came in, basically. I mean, anything that's guaranteed to him, it is. But all that stuff that was like roster bonuses or restructures, that's money he got already. The money that was pushed forward, the dead cap money. This is dead money. It's not paid to the player. It's paid to the cap. And you can't use it. It basically takes it away. So Zeke's money, $6 million, is what we're getting hit on the cap with, but it has nothing to do with Zeke and getting paid in his pocket.
Exactly.
He's getting paid in his pocket $1.2 million plus another $375,000 guarantee for the signing bonus plus another $375,000 if he gets his active roster bonuses. If he doesn't, he doesn't get those, and the Cowboys get the cap back on that, the cap credit back on that.
Exactly. So the bill is just due.
Yeah, exactly. It's just credit card bill. So the hope is that Zeke looks pretty damn good in camp and can be part of a running back by committee. That's the plan. We heard it from Will McCLAY a minute ago.
Yeah.
We're running back by committee, and Zeke looks like he's ready to roll. He's got a little bit juice back in him, right?
Yeah, so it seems like based on, and you'll hear from him too, like it sounds like he also knows he's here to be part of the running back by committee while also still
be a leader.
Being like, yeah, I'm the leader. I'm going to still be the number one guy, but obviously we're all helping to share that load.
Yep. So.
Sorry, that made me laugh the way I said that.
Share the load.
Oh, anyway. Back to you.
So just look, the hope is he looks great, and he's part of this running back by committee that will make us kind of power us up a little bit. But it's clear that he is not one of the top 3 running backs. Let me put it this way: if it becomes clear that he's not one of the top 3 running backs, like we just discussed, either a rookie does good or somebody else because they find a spot for him, or Royce Freeman does something, the Cowboys can move on from him and be barely hitting on the cap. You're hitting like $1.2 million on the cap on us, maybe $2 million in the over the whole season. So
we can more or less cut him whenever with no.
If he's not, if he for some reason is surprisingly not producing anything in camp, we can get rid of him and barely even miss a beat. So I'm not saying we will. I'm just saying that we could. Now
I was gonna say, even I find it hard to believe. It feels like, let's say, Dowdle, to use an example, like Dowdle starts stepping it up. He starts blowing Zeke out of the water. Seems kind of silly. I feel like the Cowboys would just let Zeke sit on the bench.
Let's say that happens, and then we got Royce Freeman, who is just a power back guy. He just has more juice. He's better than Zeke. Looking out there playing, I'm not saying he's gone, but it starts to become a little bit more of a. You start looking at that and saying, well, what will the Cowboys do now? Jerry Jones loves Zeke and loves his leadership, so he'll probably be here. But those are the kind. If these couple guys start showing out, then you never know. You never know. That's what I'm saying. The option is there. Now, hopefully none of you guys are going, went out there and bought a brand new Ezekiel Elliott number 21 jersey. Because we talked about jersey numbers earlier, and that is now changed, guys. Ezekiel Elliott, even though he was number 21 today in practice, he's moving to number 15. It was announced this morning. So, as you can see there, as you know, the magic of the internet and Photoshop, Zeke with the Cowboys wearing number 15. If you remember, guys, he wore that number in New England, but more importantly, he wore it in Ohio State. Now, if he's getting number 15, you know who's number 15, right? Trey Lance. So Trey Lance is moving to number 19. Which is why we said earlier about Fortnoy. Fortnoy was Choctaw Montana in the house, the star level member.
Dropping that membership message.
Yeah, dropping that comment from his membership side of things. What did the man say?
What the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator are trying to do along with McCarthy, they're trying to dismantle NFL teams by the fourth quarter and force them to gas out and quit mid-game. Zeke, Royce, and Pete are complementary. Rico and Lego Von Sanders. Are complimentary to Rico and Lego Von Sanders. So we will. Oh, thank you so much, by the way, Choctaw Montana. Flexing that membership representation there. 27 months. And yeah, like I said,
you can use Zeke in that way too.
You are starting to see, like, you know, the options. Kind of offensive and defensive plans, the ideas, the intentions coming together.
So, I mean, listen, if that's correct, and that's a great point by Choctaw Montana, you know, I was thinking you use him throughout a game as a starter, and I think the Cowboys will do that, but that's a good point, though. If you want to, let's say, you know, you really roll with Rico and other guys out there to kind of mix it up, and then you use Zeke and lean on him to kind of work off the minutes of the final minutes of the fourth quarter, you know, in a quarter when we're up by a couple touchdowns or whatever it may be. Very good, very good point there by Mr. Choctaw Montana on the way we can use Ezekiel Elliott. Multiple ways you can use Zeke.
Lord Hazen was asking, wasn't Aubrey 19? Brandon Aubrey?
Well, that's kind of what the thing I'm going to say here.
Okay.
Because it was Flournoy who was number 19.
Okay.
And he had to move to 18 today. He moved to 18. So he's a Flournoy. And now Trey Lance went to 19. I think Brandon Aubrey did change his number, if I'm not mistaken. That's a good question, though. I remember we did talk about him changing his number earlier in the off-season. I remember there was a change of numbers. So I don't know if you can look that up for me.
I'll go ahead and try to see if I can find out.
If you go to Brandon Aubrey, if you look him up on anything, he'll
I have to admit, Tokyo, you probably have a very funny point, because that was the first thing I thought of, too. He's like, Jerry heard we still had our 21 jersey, so he decided to make a business decision.
And let me get into it. So Trey Lance is now number 19, all right? What does that mean for number 21, the actual jersey number 21? It doesn't mean Stephon Gilmore is coming back. In fact, I looked this up to make sure there is nothing imminent on a potential return from our former, cornerback. The Cowboys are not interested in the old number 21, Stephon Gilmore. It looks like Stephon Gilmore is not coming back, and he wore number 21 last for the Cowboys, but no imminent potential return for Gilmore because number 21 is open now on the team. So Zeke is moving to number 15, and that ends the 214 era. Remember the Dallas area code?
He's 17 now.
Oh, that's right. Brandon Aubrey's 17. It was him last year, wasn't he?
I think he was 17, not 19.
Yeah, I think it was 19 that started, but he might have switched to 17 in the season or before the season started last year.
Man, this is why players can't keep switching their numbers around so willy-nilly, because it's getting confusing. But
I know, in camp he was like number one.
Back to Mr. 15.
They had like 3 number ones in camp on the team. Anyways, 214. Remember that old 214 with Dak and Zeke? That's no more. That's Dallas area code. Now it's 415, which is San Francisco area code. Interesting. Maybe we're coming for their heads this year, finally. But I would, again, guys, don't be shocked, number one, if Ezekiel Elliott's number 15 jerseys are going to be one of the higher-selling jerseys this offseason. You know, them Cowboy fans are going to buy a bunch of them. That's what Jerry Jones wanted. You can't wear your old number 21. You know, and your old Ezekiel Elliott's.
New Zeke, new number for the new Zeke.
I'm going to wear 21. Anyways, the point here is, expect him to be a higher-selling jersey, and that means Jerry Jones doing his money thing. So Ryan Flournoy went from number 19 to number 18, and number 21 is now open on the team. Nobody has 21 yet, but we're looking to see who's going to take that number. Now, we also know other numbers. Damian Wilson, newly signed linebacker, although re-signed for the third time in his career to the Cowboys. He's wearing number 45. Looks like, is that Malik Jefferson's number? I don't know. 46, I think, Malik Jefferson. Anyways, and also wide receiver Tyron Billy Johnson, who we just signed as well, who was also on our team in the practice squad last year, is wearing number 13. Of course, as I said multiple times, DeMarvin Overshown went from number 35 to number 13. And so there's a double number there as well at number 13. Billy Johnson on wide receiver on offense, and DeMarvin Overshown at linebacker on defense. Now, as we continue with Zeke spoke with DallasCowboys.com right after he got signed and pen to paper. This was
signed officially.
I think it was Monday. He spoke with them or Tuesday, but either way, we have the basic gist of what he said. Baby, what did Zeke say in this interview?
It feels great to be home. I definitely missed being here. I missed this building. I missed Cowboys Nation. I'm definitely excited and ready to get this thing going. It's definitely also good to see TP get paid. He's a tremendous back who's had a hell of a career. I'm excited for him and his family, but it'll definitely be different talking about the explosiveness Tony brings to the room. Rico definitely had a great year last year. He finally got his health together. He was able to showcase his ability. He runs the ball super hard, and that's something I love about his game. It'll be fun to play with Rico again this year.
So all good news there, leading the way there. But then he also kind of brought his thought about his feeling now and with the guys in the running back room and his abilities right now in his career. What did he say?
Just being in this league for as long as I have been and being comfortable with who I am and having as many reps as I have, I can focus on bringing other guys along and help them find their way. A lot of skilled guys and guys with a lot of different talents in our running back room. It'll be exciting to work with them, push each other, and help each other become better football players. And I'm just showing I can be a starter in this league. As far as his time in New England, he's kind of pointing out, that was one of his motivations there, right? Quote, I can still play at a high level. I'm going to continue that here. And I've always prided myself on being an all-around back. Not just running with the ball, but also protecting the quarterback and catching the ball out of the backfield.
He's dropped a little bit in the running and the pass protection, but he's still out there. He was the leading receiver for the Patriots last year, believe it or not. As far as catches, I think catches and yards. I'm not sure. Definitely catches. So, I understand what he's saying. And again, being a guy who's going to be, running back by committee, splitting this thing, the carries up and the duties, Zeke knows it's going to be different for him this time around as well. So that was him, yesterday or Monday. Today, again, we talked about this earlier, guys. Zeke was a surprise at this home run derby today to raise some money for the Salvation Army. He wore a jersey without a name. All the Cowboy players had names in their back, but he didn't have a name. But of course, everyone knew who he was. You can see him there. He also had the number 00 on his back for this home run derby that he took part in and helped raise some money for $7,000, over $7,000 for charity. So Elliott said basically coming back to Dallas is a chance to complete some unfinished business. He's here to get that ring-a-ling. So what did he have to say, baby? At this home run derby before they went out there and did their thing, they were all interviewed. All the players were interviewed. We'll start with Zeke, though.
He said, I'm here to chase a ring. It was just important to get back here and finish what I started. Again, he said, I think you guys all know what I'm going to give when I'm on the field.
And again, he moved from number 21. He came back here, got 21 again, but then switched it over to number 15. Why did he do that?
He said, I just kind of look at it as a different era.
There you go. So it's kind of like Jordan. When he came back, he wore 45 that year. It didn't work too well. Then went back to 23, but Bulls got knocked out of the playoffs that year, but then they won 3 more. So we'll see if Zeke stays on the Cowboys next year for some reason. He might go back to 21. Yes. We'll see. But that's basically what Zeke said today. I would like to know from the chat any thoughts on the Ezekiel Elliott situation, whether it's a jersey number, whether it's his ability to play, what he said today, and what we're talking about now. So let's finish up some Zeke stuff here before we finish up the rest of the team at this home run derby.
Mike Adnana said Zeke will probably still be chasing after this year, but you never know. So let me roll back a little bit more to catch some different Zeke thoughts since I see that little Niners conversation happening there in the chat. Let me see. MB said, we should have signed Henry. Can you imagine how nice it would have been taking the ball out of Dak's hands and into his? Seabass said, I would have just loved a Henry Zeke drip. My God.
But keep this in mind, guys. Henry was 2 years, $16 million. $8 million a year, or basically even less than $2 million a year for 1 year for Zeke. That is the reason why we're not going to get Henry. It's the Joneses. And they called it that way. Agree or disagree, I can see it from both ways. But, we've always seen it from this way, from this front office, the cheapest way possible.
Mike Aldana, final kind of a Zeke comment here as far as this. He said, better off using Zeke later in the game to submit the opposing team into submission. Basically, kind of save him as almost like the closer.
Yeah.
Once the team is worn down, Zeke will basically go in there and be able to truck right.
But that means he wouldn't be. That means he would not be the starter, though. Technically, he would not be a starter. But he's still. I'm not saying.
I think it's more again when you see that whole quote unquote running back rotation. Zeke should be in the rotation more towards the second half of the games. It's not that Zeke will have any snaps at all in the beginning. It's just that the other guys should maybe have a little more. That leaves Zeke open to, coming in at the end and basically establishing his will on them. So I'm just throwing that out there because that's kind of how I interpret it there. So, and all good, WTP Niners. It's again, yes, you do want to keep your friends close and enemies.
Hey, I agree with that. We give you the news here, the real deal of the Cowboys, good, bad, and ugly. It's not just all, hyping shit up for us here. We know the deal. We hope the Cowboys have enough to push through.
Yes.
We'll see. Now, finishing up with Zeke, I know Dak spoke on Zeke. Yeah, old Dak Prescott and his buddy. They had practice today, and then they went out there for the home run derby together. So what did Dak Prescott say as far as how he feels having Zeke back in the locker room and his impact in the locker room?
So first of all, he did say that he's, quote, super excited, adding in there, when it's time to be serious and lock in, there's nobody better than him. Every young guy should follow the way that he goes about his business on the field.
Dak letting you know how he feels about Mr. Zeke Elliott, directly. Again, those young guys are going to be major learning. He's going to learn a lot from Ezekiel Elliott. That's what Dak's trying to say there. So that's it with Zeke. We got your comments. We got Dak's comment. What did the other players say on the field, on the baseball field today? Like Brandon Cooks, wide receiver. He spoke about CeeDee Lamb's contract.
Saying, the guy is a freak. He deserves everything that is coming his way, and I hope he gets every single dollar that he can and be the highest paid receiver in the league. Because he's the greatest receiver in the league, no doubt.
So, again, Brandon Cooks talking about CeeDee Lamb and get that money. And that's what he's doing. Right now, we just talked about A.J. Brown getting $32 million a year yesterday. We're looking at 33, 34, 35 million for him and Justin Jefferson now. So, yeah. So he's going to get that money. Now, another guy that spoke, not shown here, Jalen Tolbert. He said he had Adidas gloves. He was wearing them to the game, for his batting gloves. He said he had these Adidas gloves ready at the house just for this home run derby, which, again, I guess he was very, very happy to be part of. He was last second call in there, with Zeke,
good,
right?
Like I said, good for him.
But one of the bigger names we want to hear about more is really, I would say our biggest free agent we got from another team, and that's Eric Kendricks, who is really a game changer working with Zimmer. They know each other. They know each other's style. He knows Zimmer's style, and he knows Zimmer's scheme, and Zimmer knows him. So Eric Kendricks, we know multiple times from other discussions, he chose the Cowboys over the Niners because he had signed with the Niners, and then he switched to the Cowboys. But he wanted to have the chance to be a Mike linebacker, a middle linebacker. With the Niners, Fred Warner's there. So he would have been a weak side linebacker or a strong side linebacker, but he would not have been, he would have Sam or a Will, but not a Mike, not a middle linebacker. So he still believes he's got more to give at that position, which he's most comfortable with and he feels best with. And he wanted that starting role. He didn't want to be the backup to Fred Warner. He wanted to be a starter and try to bounce off of that with Mike Zimmer over the, being a backup with the Niners behind Fred Warner.
Which, again, is a fair point.
And he also felt he could be valuable in being coached up. I'm not coached up, but coaching up the very young linebacking core we have. So, again.
This reminds me of somebody, I can't quite remember who, but a year or two ago, who had basically chose to come to the Cowboys over another team for a similar situation.
Peters?
They wanted to, I can't remember, again, can't remember who it was, but basically they wanted to be able to, be a starter, and they liked the fact that they were... I don't know.
He
can't
definitely
remember. It
helped
was
us that
like I
night,
said.
yeah.
I can't remember what player or position. It was in the last like 2-3 years though, because they were like really like, yeah, this is my place. Anyway, speaking of, so Kendricks went into even more detail on why specifically he chose the Cowboys over the Niners, adding in their quote, "I think I would have taken more of a reserved role in San Francisco, whereas I feel I have a lot left to give, and I wanted to be here and be middle linebacker. I wanted to share my experience with the team, share my leadership abilities with the command that huddle."
So he wants to command that huddle. He's a leader, and that's what he wants to kind of impact the rest of this team with. And in Zimmer's defense, he is like the coach on the field. I agree. He knows the Zimmer defense, and it's complex. So they're gonna need an Eric Kendricks on that field. So then, as we round this up and come to an end tonight here, guys, the stream is almost over. We had some other defensive players speak on. Well, one more defensive player speaking, Deron Bland. Deron Bland speaking about Trayvon Diggs. What's going on with him? Remember, he's coming back from that season-ending knee injury from week 3 last year, week 2. So what did Deron Bland say about Trayvon Diggs?
I mean, a lot of people are not expecting what Trey is going to come back with. I know what Trey is going to come back with. It's going to be something dangerous, and I can't wait.
Guys, remember, Trayvon Diggs expected to be ready. This is the expectation. Supposedly going to be ready for training camp from that September 21st ACL tear. So he should be back in ready to go by training camp. That's the word. We'll see if that actually is confirmed afterwards and it actually happens. Because, these ACLs take always a little longer. And it's a mental thing. They got to get, and sometimes it's hard to get back out there and just be productive like they were. So I don't want to rush back Trayvon Diggs, but they're saying he'll be ready for training camp. Now, the last guy, we go to special teams. And there he is wearing number 1. Like I said, it was like 3 guys wearing number 1 last year. He was one of them. Brandon Aubrey actually spoke. And he had his appendix removed after the Pro Bowl, after he played in the Pro Bowl. And then he said he took 6 weeks off after 2 seasons with the Cowboys. Because remember, guys, he had his USFL season.
He went straight from the USFL to the
Right.
Cowboys, and obviously he did I think he has an off season under his belt now, officially as a Cowboy. But it still probably feels like he's been playing or he's been working for the last 4 years straight with no stops.
Yeah, listen, he returned to kicking. He said returning to kicking has been, quote, like riding a bike. So he did also mention about the appendix. He kind of said that his appendix started bothering him before the Pro Bowl. And then he went to the doctor the next day who recommended antibiotics to delay the surgery. Actually, he didn't finish the Pro Bowl. They actually said to take antibiotics so he can delay missing he didn't want to miss the Pro Bowl. I mean, that's an honor for some guys. They don't care about it because they've been there 20 times. This is a guy who's a rookie. Broke some records and he's in the Pro Bowl. He wanted to experience it. The doctor recommended antibiotics that to delay the surgery. He's able to participate in the Pro Bowl, and literally after the Pro Bowl ended, the next day he had it removed, his appendix, and that's the story of Brandon Aubrey. In case you were wondering.
Okay, I thought you were gonna add something else.
No, I'm gonna add this to it, baby. You got one more thing to say. Dak spoke about I'm going back to Dak for a reason. Ooh, that's Dak's contract. This is Dak Prescott, and he actually spoke interestingly about the Walter Payton Man of the Year award situation. He was asked about the emotion that struck him seeing in the draft Eduardo Flores. Eduardo Flores, was on stage announcing a Cowboy pick, and basically he gave a big shout out to Dak Prescott when it came to.
Yeah, if you guys are watching, he's the one who basically said, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Dak and his sharing of, the mental health stuff. So.
Right. So, again, Dak was given a big shout-out in the draft by this Cowboy fan that announced one of the picks. And, again, he was on the stage talking about, he attributes his survival against mental health struggles to Dak Prescott, Walter Payton Man of the Year. So, what did Dak say about this entire situation? Yeah.
So he said it was special. It was super special. That was one of those moments that hits you. I got it from my brother Tad, and to get it from him saying, look at the impact you have. Eduardo and I will connect because that was a huge moment. I put a lot of pride into that, devoting my time and sharing my story to inspire others and give hope. And to hear that firsthand on a stage like that, it was special.
So this gentleman's name is Eduardo Flores. And after he heard this, he actually thanked Patrick Walker from the start. And he also gave his little comment about, his thoughts about Dak Prescott and everything that he said to him about, especially after, linking up and everything.
Yes.
They're gonna meet up. So what did Eduardo Flores say?
When I was on stage, I wasn't expecting this would go that viral. I'm glad it did. To someone who may need this, you are not alone. The world is better with you around, and I love you. Thank you for being so brave.
And there you go, guys. We're ending on a nice positive note here. All right. Big shout outs there to Dak, of course, and Eduardo for really bringing this to the forefront of things when it comes to mental health and the need for that. So, guys, let's get the last comments and thoughts from people in the chat as we're wrapping up tonight's live stream. It's a quickie tonight. I'm not quickie, but it's power packed 2 days, but it's a lot quicker than we usually go with.
Yeah.
So let's hit up some of the comments and the final shout outs.
Now, John Syme, I do have to agree. He said, geez, no one's going to know who's who with all the numbers swapping.
I know. And it's going to swap again right after the cuts are done. Mm-hmm. You're going to see a bunch of other guys now.
I was going to say, I have a feeling that there's a few players that have intentions of switching numbers. They are just waiting until training camp is more done and all that. So, let me see. Let me just start from the bottom. So, thank you so much, Mr. Seabass. Appreciate you for being here, rolling with us, of course. Aztec Aguilar 04 said that was that was Aubrey kicking his appendix to the curb. So, let me see. Thank you for being here, even you WTP Niners. So, Chalk to Montana 808 representing. Much love to you. Let me see. He said, if you play Zeke all 4 quarters, just spare him for the 4th quarter, because the most you can start Zeke is just about 3 to 5 carries in the first 3 quarters, and then load him up with 10 or 12 total carries to close the 4th out. That's the way
I kind of lay it out, rather than play him hard early, and then what if you need him later? He's gonna be tired, he's gonna get hurt, he's gonna get weakened down and worn down. And then the next game he won't be as effective.
So let me keep rolling here. MB, much love. Aztec Aguilar 04, Luis Ortiz. We have, of course, Mike Aldana and Seabass, but just in case. Let me see here. Lord Azen, have a great night. Tokyo representing. Iceberg Slim in the house. Let me see. Actually, that's as far back as it lets me go. So let me come back down here. And perfect. Yes, we have shouted out everybody here. So, and who's that? MCF After Dark.
Oh, yeah. Probably not going live tonight on that channel, but we might be on somewhere else. We'll see. You gotta just subscribe to that channel and hit the notification bell so you know we're going live.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. So on that note, though, it is a big shout out to some people in the house for tonight, like Jason Renfro with a couple drops and also back in the membership. A. Lavelle in the silver level. Gerald Swain in the navy blue crew. You too, baby, in the navy blue. Larry T in the PayPal with the 3, and Brandon J with the 1 on it. So that's the wrap here tonight of My Cowboys Family. And again, if it is, I'm trying to think, but if there's not any news tomorrow, we'll be back on Friday. If there's news like that we had today, we'll definitely be back breaking it all down, the news info and updates here on My Cowboys Family. But on that note, baby, let's also give a shout out, a quick little roundabout shout out here as we wrap this up, to those that are in the Lunatic draft jersey raffle. Day 1 and 2. Basically 1 jersey and a second jersey. 2 winners going to win a jersey apiece. Sewn and stitched. Your choice of what we have, about 40 different guys. New and old. Different styles, all sizes, and women, men, all that stuff. And really any team, any sport, if not even a Cowboy fan. So you can get a lot of different choices there. But how can someone win one of these jerseys brought to you by the Lunatic?
Again, you drop $10, bam. You are automatically entered into the raffle, and you can stack as many entries as you want, because every additional $10 is another entry in the raffle. Of course, membership has its perks. You get an additional bonus entry once you officially enter the raffle if you are an MCF member, and that's at any level. So, navy blue, silver, star over everything.
Yeah, stack them, unlimited, the whole deal. Thank you guys that are in it, and big thanks, big shout out to the Lunatic. And then, of course, the leaders on the board here, the winners from last week. Sponsor of the week, SCO971, the first time he reps it there as our sponsor of the week. SCO971 is also the Cash App King. Big shout outs to SCO, appreciate you. He's mainly on the After Dark sessions. He's got Cab52 repping the 43 points on the stream, boss. Big shout-outs to Cab. And then on the membership gifting board, Jason Renfro with that three-peat. Will he go for 4? We don't know yet. Will he go for 4? We'll see. But right now, no one's on that board for this week. So we don't know. As far as the overall leaders, when it comes to the Cash App side, and when it comes to the Sponsor of the Week side, at least the weekly leaders, it's just one name right now. It's the man, McLovin, in the house. So
Ooh.
Much love to McLovin, who is currently the leader in the Cash App and the overall leaderboard, which means he's coming for that Sponsor Week. If he does get it, he'll have it 3 out of the last 4 weeks on both sides, on Cash App and the overall board. Got to give them shout-outs. And I think we gave all the shout-outs in the chat as well. MB, Seabass, WTP, After Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, why do we do this each and every night on My Cowboys Family?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Oh, yeah. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Here, we always rep that star over everything. And for almost 7 full years on YouTube, here on My Cowboys Family, we've been rocking it for almost 7 years. Never forget, it's the number one thing here, now, and forever on this little channel on YouTube. As always, say it with us. Go Cowboys! You see my shirt. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long, all night. And of course, those that drop the love from above, appreciate that as well. Can't do this without both of those things rolling. And on that note, it is time to clock out and drop out officially for the night and relock and reload for another show. Maybe tomorrow, definitely by Friday, a Fan Friday. Mm-hmm. So, baby, before we get on out of here, why don't you let everybody know what we got to do before we can officially, 100%, drop on out of here for the night.
We got to drop the beat.
What was that?
Oh, I'm sorry. We got to drop the beat.
And we wrapped it up with that. Very
yeah, that first one didn't have enough pizzazz to it.
Yeah. So thank you all again for repping it here with us and stopping by, saying hi, jumping in the chat, dropping some love, whatever you guys did tonight. We know it's definitely one thing in here we do every night on the Nightly, and that is give you a whole wrap-up of the news, info, and updates on another Cowboy Day right here on an MCF Cowboys chat. Hell yeah. Arrow up in the air like Deuce Vaughn over there. On today, phase 2, they get to be with the coaches on the field, but more important things we discussed, like the rookies, Will McCLAY, and of course Cooper Beebe, Zeke's situation. A lot of people spoke about that, the home run derby with Dak and others, and of course his number change, right? And much, much more. Let us know what you think. If you're watching this in the replay, make sure you hit the like, but also make sure you leave a comment down below. What do you think about tonight's stream? Let it show. Here on MCF, it's always about that navy blue, silver 2, and that star over everything. Never forget, ever forget the number one thing right here on My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house. Can't do this without your love and support, so don't forget to hit that like button for the stream. Hit the notification bell. So you know we're going live. Make sure you have it to all videos, onto all videos. And of course, you got to subscribe. Guys, we're like 70 away from 35K. 35,000 subscribers, family members.
Can't believe it.
That is awesome, guys. We keep just growing and going. Let's go. Keep it going, guys. Thank you all. Follow us on Twitter, X, all social media at My Cowboys Family. All the rest of the information is down in the description below, Discord and all that good stuff. Stay safe, everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow or the next day. Peace out, and never, ever forget, Go Cowboys!